All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeftTV. Be ready for some high-speed action tonight. Let's step on the gas. All right, race fans, welcome to sunny Phoenix. This is TurnLeftTV, and I'm your host, Heath Johnson. The High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series heads to Phoenix tonight for, I don't know, man, a ton of laps. 140 laps here tonight. And it is a great one, man. Race number 4 in the Saturday Showdown Series. Who's got what it takes to tame the dog leg? Who's going to get peed on? Hang out and find out right here on TurnLeftTV. Well, it's the Saturday Showdown Series, and it's sunny Phoenix. A very, very fun track. Is it 5 turns? Is it 4? Well, it's race number 4, and this is going to be a fun one. Hang on, boys and girls. All right, hey, thank you so much for coming in here to TurnLeftTV. Appreciate you being here today. I already got Mrs. Almeida in here. Givaldo's been in here in the chat session, and we are at sunny Phoenix. Thanks for coming in and joining me on TurnLeftTV. I'm your broadcaster, commentator, Heath Johnson. I got California up there. What in the dog snot is going on right there? There we go. My gosh. Man. I tell you what, I'm an amateur. I really am. Bail me out. This is Phoenix Raceway. I'm your broadcaster, commentator, Heath Johnson. 140 laps here tonight. Race number 4. Of the season, and we always love the Saturday Showdown Series. Fun stuff, and Phoenix, one of my favorite tracks, really is a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me here on TurnLeftTV. Appreciate you being here tonight. Peace to everybody out there. Peace to MJ and Givaldo for joining us in the chat session. Appreciate you coming in and joining us. I know Givaldo's out here on the track. He's going to be racing some laps with us tonight, as always. Good luck to him, and good luck to all the drivers here tonight. This is the Saturday Showdown Series. This is TurnLeftTV. Peace to everybody. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and then click on the links down in the banner of the channel and help me out here at TurnLeftTV. And that way we can keep on rolling, man. Subscribe, share my links. Also, click on the Fanatec website link down there in the description of this race and follow that over to the Fanatec website. Better hurry, man. They're raising some prices, such a thing. So now's a good time to get in here before the price hikes go into effect. Again, thanks for coming in here tonight. We've got Phoenix headed your way, and this is going to be a fun race, man. Phoenix International, a little over a mile in length. I think there are 5 turns, man. I know it says 4, but I'm calling that dog leg an extra turn. Although this guy's going to be cutting it tonight, we're going to let him drive below the yellow lines, race below the lines in the dog leg. So this should be a fun race. Tonight's race is brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server, please give EliteHostingUSA.com a look. 3 self-managed packages for you to choose from. And then also, if you'd like to host your website, you have WordPress hosting and online store hosting. That is EliteHostingUSA.com. Right now, we are in the qualification session, watching the 53. Jim Willis make his qualification attempt. The 26.369 is the top time, the time to beat. Jim Willis with that time behind him, and 26.9. Little work to do for that 53 car. How about Eugene Zaglotko in the 33? Joining us here. He looks like he's finished up his qualification attempt. Givaldo driving in that 117 car. See what that 117 car does. 27.344. Pretty fast there for Givaldo. Is 6th on the grid for him. So a good run there for Givaldo at his qualification attempt. He's got another lap in him. .317. Givaldo 9th on the grid as we've got some other qualifiers out there. Take a look at Ed Palumbo, his qualification attempt. He is currently 5th on the list, and we'll see what he can't do here on his qualification effort. 26.841, 5th on the grid for the 11 car of Ed Palumbo. Alexander Meshkov in the 77. He is shown as 10th on the grid. Looks like he's finished up his qualification effort. Ricardo Alameda in the 22. He's already gotten a win this season. Race number 1. So keep your eye on Ricardo. Expect him to be very fast. Top time so far is Gary Madu with a 26.369. See Ricardo dipping below that yellow line in the dog leg. That is going to be legal tonight. The guys will be able to do that. Just take care. They do not cause a wreck. And you see 26.623. Almeida 2nd on the grid. Stanislav Pavlov, I think he is out on the track. We'll take a look at the 62 as Stanislav Pavlov. Running that 62 car. .782. Pavlov up to the 5th position on that lap. backing off that second lap qualification ever. So Pavlov, good there run for him, 26.369. We'll start 5th, I believe. We've got about 4 minutes left of the qualification session. Don't forget, next week we got a great race headed your way on Friday, March the 18th. It's race number 9 of the season, and it is Richmond. Short track action in the Bushwhacker Series. You have great field sizes there, and 140 laps at Richmond should be a fun one. You don't want to miss it. It'll be live right here on TurnLeft TV at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is on Friday, March the 18th, the Bushwhacker Series. Take a look at the schedule here in the Showdown Series. Of course, we are at Phoenix today, and look at that. Next week, Watkins Glen, 40-lap race on March the 19th. Richmond, a little short track action on April the 2nd. You see Homestead, Miami Speedway. Great track. One of my favorite tracks, really. Riverside International, another road course on April the 16th in Pocono. I don't know whether you want to call that an oval or road course or just a disaster. It's Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle on April the 23rd, and then Kentucky Speedway to finish out the season on April the 30th. Always a fun race there at that great track. Phoenix Raceway coming up a little bit later here tonight. Race number 6 of the season in the Saturday Night Sun Thunder, and I call this Beat the Broadcaster night. If you're interested in coming out and racing with us and racing alongside me, I get out of the broadcast booth and get in the driver's seat just to see if I can keep up with some of these old guys. So come on out. We'd love to have you, man. It's a great historic series. Has been running for 20 years, actually 21 years, to be honest with you. The Saturday Night Thunder, Phoenix Raceway tonight, 140 laps. It's race number 6 in that Saturday Night Thunder series. Come on out and join us. So just about finished with the qualification session. These guys will be looking at the qualification results here in just a minute. And thanks so much for joining us here on TurnLeft TV. Always appreciate your patronage. Again, this is a great race here tonight at Phoenix. I'm your commentator, your broadcaster, Heath Johnson. And let's get this party started. My dog is barking up a storm right now. All right, welcome back. This is Phoenix Raceway tonight. You're on TurnLeftTV. This is the High Octane Racing League Showdown Series, Saturday style. Let's take a look at the qualification results here. We've got about 8 minutes to go before we get the command to start the engines. Qualification results. Gary Madu in the 26.369 will qualify in P1. Ricardo Alameda, P2 in that 22 car, 26.588. Paul Brown in the 07 will start in, in the 70 car, will start in the third position. Mike Schreiner in the 88 will start fourth. Stanislav Pavlov starts in the fifth position. Preston Hassell sixth. And Palumbo will start in the seventh position alongside Jim Willis in the 53 car. Claudio Bardelli Jr. in the 9 starts in, in the 91 will start in the 9th position. Eugene Zaglotko starts in 10th. Starting in 11th will be Givaldo Spindola in the 68 car. Alexander Meshkov will start 12th, and John Stanley starts in the 13th position. And I think we might have a couple more drivers joining us here very soon. So that's the starting order here tonight. Point standings coming into tonight's race. The top 10. Claudio Bardelli Jr. with 116 points, 2 points ahead of Ricardo Almeida, who sits in the second position. Sean Jacobs third. Kent Thomas fourth. Givaldo Spindola is fifth. Stanislav Pavlov is sixth. Paul Brown seventh. Gary Madu is eighth. Mike Schreiner ninth. And Paulo Govea is 10th in points. About 6 minutes left to go here in the warm-up session. Preston Hassell joining us in there. Jim Willis also. Todd Robillard joining us in the chat session. So good to see them here. Get your winners picked now. I'm looking at him right there. That's my pick. That is Ricardo Alameda. He is our IndyCar champion, and this guy can flat out drive stock cars too. So keep your eye on that 22. Definitely going to be a factor here tonight. And that is my pick to win this race. That is Ricardo Alameda, 22. And I know that's going to make MJ happy. That's an easy pick, really. I'll tell you, Ricardo's a very solid race car driver and does not make a lot of mistakes. And you know what? When he finds himself in the back of the field or back in the pack, he is patient. But this guy will be back to the front at the snap of a finger, I'll tell you. So keep your eye on Ricardo Almeida. Look at this, 27, Preston Hassell, this Twix sponsor machine. This guy's getting closer and closer to winning one here in the Showdown Series. We got 14 drivers joining us. Got 4.5 minutes left to go in the warm-up session. Got keys to the race here tonight. Man, this is a different one, isn't it? Corner exit. I think it's been my experience, not only in Indy cars, but also stock cars, whenever I've driven this track, it's all about corner exit here. I think it's easy to get through these corners, but man, if you can get that down to that low line and really mash the gas coming off the corner, you have got to run down that front stretch and also through that back stretch of the dogleg. Don't overdrive it. That's the tricky thing here, because you can tend to, if you overdrive it off the turns, you may end up finding yourself in the wall. But don't overdrive this car, man. You want to try to preserve those tires as much as you possibly can. And that dogleg, man, you're going to be too wide. If you decide to go down below that yellow line, and it is legal tonight, then you're going to make sure that you do not get back up onto the racing surface and get into a car there. So both guys up high and down low are going to have to be careful on that dogleg. So you can race it too wide very easily. But it gives you a little bit more of a buffer, a little bit more of a comfort zone. But when you rejoin that racing surface, it can be a little dicey. Pit strategy, man. Just tell you what, you might be 2 tire stops here tonight. And maybe some fuel mileage, who knows. A little bit of patience there as well tonight, because this is a fast track. Things happen in a hurry here. And it is a unique track. So those are my keys to the race. Good luck to the drivers out here tonight. Peace to everybody out there. Thanks for joining us here on TurnLeftTV. And going to be a fantastic race here in the Showdown Series with 3 minutes left to go in the warm-up session. Well, we're going to say happy early birthday to Ricardo Alameda. Looks like MJ says that next Friday is going to be his birthday. I guess he's going to be 29 again. Wow, how does that work? Whatever he's taken to stay 29 years old, that is just amazing. So 29 again this coming Friday for Ricardo Alameda. Maybe he can get a win here tonight as an early birthday present. Don't forget to head on over to highoctaneracing.net and visit our website. Always looking for, constructive criticisms, suggestions how we can improve that. I've done this website, and I've got really limited web authoring skills, believe me. But you can get access to all the series pages, as well as what guys are running throughout the course of the week, what times are running on the servers, if you're interested in that, who's doing what during the week. And also, quick link to TurnLeftTV, and then there's a button there to join us on Discord if you're interested in joining us. Love to see you. Got about a minute and a half left here in the warm-up session. How about Alexander Meshkov in the 77? He said if he wins, everybody gets free Subway. Well, he may or may not have said that. Let's just put it that way. I'm sure he would if he could. The 77 car out here tonight. Good to see Alexander, one of great friends, man. I've been friends with Alexander Meshkov for quite a few years now. And this guy is always a very level-headed driver, man. Always very rational. Things are even helping out, when kind of we have server issues or if there's some sort of snafu during the race. He's always level-headed and also great suggestions there. So a lot of knowledge there for the 77 and Alexander Meshkov. He's got a lot of experience here with rFactor 2, and he's helped me out a great deal. So we do some sharing of information with Indy cars and stock cars and so forth over the years. Raced alongside Alexander. Take a look at the 27 here, Preston Hassell in this quick sponsor machine. Been friends with Preston for probably close to 15, 16 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe pushing that 20-year mark for the 27. So I've known Preston for a long time, and great to see him back in the racing. Well, that's going to do it for the warm-up session, and you know what that means. It is time to get this bad boy started here. Saturday Showdown Series tonight here at Phoenix. And this is going to be a fun race.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, singer, songwriter, megastar, and Ford truck man, Toby Keith.
It's time to get in, sit down, shut up, hold on, drivers, start your engines!
All right, boys and girls, it is Phoenix. This should be a fun race here in the Saturday Showdown Series. We'll take a look at the starting order here tonight. The starting order here in the Showdown Series. Gary Madu starts in P1. Ricardo Alameda starts in the second position. Paul Brown starts third. Mike Schreiner will start in that fourth position. Starting in the fifth position will be Stanislav Pavlov. Preston Hassell in the 27 will start sixth. Ed Palumbo starts in the seventh position. Jim Willis will start eighth. Starting in the ninth position is Claudio Bardelli Jr. In the 91 car, Eugene Zaglotko will start 10th. Givaldo Spindola starts 11th. Alexander Meshkov starts in the 12th position. Starting in 13th will be John Stanley, and Artur Vieira starts in the 14th position. So 140 laps here at Phoenix. Again, very, very fun track. And hold on here, man. We get a dog leg on this course. And this thing could get interesting with the dog leg. Here we go. The pace car is off. Here we go. 140 laps at Phoenix.
Green flag, go, go, go.
63-22 side by side entering turn one. And we're off. Gary Madu on the inside line. Ricardo Alameda up on the outside line. Good battle there. Keppel KG veterans, C22 and the 63 taking advantage of that rule, dropping below that yellow line there at the dog leg, and the 63 clearing that 22, taking the race lead. A good start here. Good clean start. Here we're doing the 63 car leading the field. Looks like we've lost a driver there. Paul Brown lost it. We lost connection with him, I think. I'm not sure. I've not heard anything on the radio. He's actually dropped from TeamSpeak, so I think he may have lost his connection. He was saying they were having some really bad weather there. 22 of Ricardo Alameda, our race leader. I mean, our second place car. Running behind Gary Madu, and we've got guys really kind of moving away from the pack. They got a fairly decent sized lead here over P3. 27, Preston Hassell. Mike Schreiner in fourth. Pavlov is in the fifth position, so good battle there. Pavlov and Ed Palumbo, they're racing together. Ed Palumbo in that 11 car, Stanislav Pavlov in the 62, running in the fifth position. Stanislav has gotten a race win this season, so keep your eye on that 62. Very solid race car driver. Stanislav, all businessman when he gets out on the track. He's racing in that Metallica sponsored machine, so you don't want to mess with that guy. Jim Willis here in this 53 car running in P7 just behind Ed Palumbo. Behind him is Eugene Zaglotko in the 33. Jim Willis here having a good night so far. Quiet night for Jim Willis. Zaglotko running in P8. Good to see Eugene Zaglotko back out here racing with us. Zaglotko, we know, of course, from IndyCars here at HORL. He does a great job, man. The guy is fantastic. And again, gets in, drives stock cars, drives Indy cars, drives some road courses as well. And he's a great race car driver. So right now running in the 8th position. How about Claudio Bardelli Jr. here in this 57 car? Couldn't connect during his normal TeamSpeak. He's lost that for some reason, and now connecting via his phone on TeamSpeak. So the 57 car having some challenge here, technical challenges. But right now running in the 9th position. Look at this. We got a battle here between the 88 and the 27. This guy's getting after it. We'll take a look at that battle there. Take a look at the 88 and the 27 as these guys were racing side by side there a little bit earlier. Well, maybe a little bit of a connection snafu there, showing us there was some racing side by side. Oh, Zaglotko looked like he had some trouble. Eugene Zaglotko's having some trouble. He's off the pace a little bit here in this 33 car, and that car might have gotten loose on him. Bardelli Jr. Got by. Also Spindola, Vieira, John Stanley trying to get by. Good battle here as Zaglotko reclaiming or regathering his thoughts in this 33, and John Stanley in the 12. Side by side with Zaglotko, and I think I would probably err on the side of caution here right now because Zaglotko might have a little bit of a handful here, so things could get dicey in a hurry as John Stanley in the 12, racing on a high line, trying to get around Zaglotko. Zaglotko pulls off that pass, but there was definitely something that went on there. As Zaglotko dropped back. Zaglotko, I'm not sure what happened to him, but that car got a little bit crazy on him. We're taking a look at a little bit earlier. He gets down on that apron right there and catches that car. That may have been the issue. He's starting to get down on that apron a little bit through the turn, and that might have caused some issues with this car. We'll take a look. Right there, he gets loose. He touches that apron, and it caused that back into that car come around, and he almost lost it. Mike Schreiner down to the inside of Preston Hassell here. He's using that dogleg rule, and now gets by. So the 88 moves to the third position as Preston Hassell in the 27 falls back to fourth. So Mike Schreiner here on the move. Our race leader is Gary Madu in a 63 car, and that KISS sponsor machine. Right now he has about a second lead over Ricardo Almeida. Mike Schreiner is in third. Preston Hassell fourth. Stanislav Pavlov is in the fifth position. Take a look at Stanislav Pavlov here running at P5. 4.5 seconds off the race lead. Keep your eye on that guy, man. I'll tell you what, through the race, he finds a way to get that car up front. And right now, having a good race, though, running in P5. Running in the sixth position is the 11 of Ed Palumbo. This guy does not make too many mistakes, man, I'll tell you. So keep your eye on this 11 car here tonight. He is itching for a race win here in this Saturday Showdown series, and he has been close. Jim Willis here in the 53 car, running in the 7th position. Now it shows him in the 11 because he's using that skin as his skin upload, but he's in the 53. Right now running in P7. Quiet on the radio for Jim Willis, about 6.5 seconds behind the race leader. Caution free here on lap 16. Talk too much about Artevieta in that 9 car. He and Givaldo Spindola here having a battle as the 9. But Artevieta making that pass, getting by the 117 of Givaldo Spindola. So Artevieta now up to the 9th position in that 9 car. We got a battle here for the race lead. Ricardo Alameda. Down to the race lead as the 62 car was down to the inside there. Not sure what happened to that 62 or 63. Oh, look at that. He got loose right there. That 63 got way, way loose coming off of turn 2 and then catches it, uses that dog leg there to catch that. But that car is absolutely a handful right now for the 63 car. So Gary Madu, we'll take a look at this. That was a crazy, crazy replay there. You see Gary Madu, watch this. He is absolutely sideways and holds on to that car. Working that wheel as he holds on to this thing. We're trying to get into that cockpit view. He holds on, now gets that thing pointed back in the right direction. But I'll tell you what, that car got absolutely sideways. He was wrecked. Able to save it. Take a look at Artevieta here running in P9. Close it in on Claudio Bardelli Jr. in the 57 car. Paint schemes look sort of similar there with Givaldo's and the paint scheme that Claudio's in. Looks pretty similar. John Stanley has gotten around Eugene Zaglotko with that 12. Now up to the 11th position. John Stanley here looking to make some noise. Now moving up to P11. Been quiet there for him on the radio. Eugene Zaglotko back to the 12th position. Meshkov here having a quiet night. I don't know whether maybe he's got a little bit of a handling issue in this car. He is running in the 13th position, 18 seconds back. He's got a little bit of work to do to catch up to Eugene Zaglotko. Well, Ricardo Alameda is the leader, and it has been a quiet night here so far in the Saturday Showdown Series, 22 laps in, and we have been caution-free. There's a 22 of Eugene Zaglotko, of Ricardo Alameda leading the field. Things happen in a hurry here as we're looking at John Stanley, also 117 car. So we'll get an idea of where these guys are. Here are the race leaders again. So again, things happen in a hurry. John Stanley now catching Givaldo Spindola. As these guys starting to battle here on board here with John Stanley as he's now below Givaldo. He's going to get that spot. So Givaldo giving up that spot now, falling back to P11 as John Stanley takes over the 10th position. So again, keep your eye on that 12 car. He is great at saving tires and moving that car up front toward the end of these runs. So 26 laps in, and now John Stanley cracking the top 10. And we got a battle here for the race lead. After catching that car, Gary Madu in his 63 now closing back in, and he's got company as well. Looking out of the back of Ricardo Almeida's machine. Look at that. He's got company in Mike Schreiner, so he's up here vying for the race lead. We got a three-way battle here essentially for the race lead. It's going to be four-way before it's over with. Preston Hassell running in the 4th position. He's eyeing that battle. Those guys start getting side by side. He's going to be in this mix in a hurry. So he's looking pretty solid here late in this run. See everybody choosing there as a single file there to drop below that white line, or excuse me, that yellow line, and race down on the apron through the dog leg. And this is a tight race here. The 22 of Ricardo Alameda leading. Just behind him is the 63 of Gary Madu. Mike Schreiner sits in 3rd, Preston Hassell 4th, and we got a great four-way battle here for the race lead toward the end of this run. 29 laps in, and we've been caution-free. This is the guy we were talking about earlier in the race. He has got an IndyCar championship under his belt and can flat-out drive just about anything. He loves this oval racing, likes stock cars, loves those Indy cars, and we got a battle there for the 2nd position as Gary Madu and Mike Schreiner now side by side. Mike Schreiner in the 88 car, been pretty quiet here for him. He backs off, going to maybe try his luck a little bit later, but now Gary Madu going down to the inside. Look at that. Oh, there's contact. There's contact, and we might have our first caution flag. Mike Schreiner making it through, and looked like there was contact there through that dog leg area, and a couple of cars coming around. Gary Madu and also Ricardo Almeida. So the leaders. A little wreck there. Take a look at Gary Madu as he comes back out on track. And there was some contact between Ricardo Almeida and Gary Madu. We'll take a look and see what happened here as Madu goes down to the inside. And we're sort of blocked off from the view there. And there's contact between he and the 22 car. And they both come around. So very interesting there. Going here on board here with Mike Schreiner. And then Gary Madu got onto that inside. He hit that that slope coming off the wall, and then those guys come around. And that's what happened. Gary Madu, watch this. He gets on this apron right here and smacks it, and then gets into the 22 car, and then comes around. And fortunately, those guys don't hit anything else. But the 22 does back it pretty hard into the wall. My gosh. So going back to live here. The 88 coming down pit lane. So pit stops underway as we look at Alexander Meshkov. Heading into his pit stall in the Subway sponsor machine. Alexander Meshkov wins this race. Free subs, according to him, allegedly. Ricardo Alameda having a battle there for the 60 with the 63. The 63 going to have to start at the tail end of the line as you see these guys finishing up their pit stops. Oh, right, a little battle right there. Oh, more contact on pit lane. More contact on pit lane. The 11 car. Stanislav Pavlov and also Ricardo Alameda, there was contact. Those guys fighting for position, coming back out on the track. Watch this. This is on board here with Ricardo Alameda, and he's going to get into these guys right there. Oh, there's contact. Ed Palumbo also, watch this. This is review of this. This is 62 and also Ed Palumbo get together in that 11. 62 is Stanislav Pavlov coming over there. Doesn't realize Ed Palumbo, and he takes evasive action, gets down into the 22. And tight racing right there on pit lane. Oh, my heavens. Going to fire some boys up, isn't it? 27, Preston Hassell, the race leader. '88, Mike Schreiner is in second. Stanislav Pavlov to 62 in third. Ed Palumbo fourth. And I think they probably got a little bit of damage there on that, as well as Ricardo Almeida is going to have a little bit of damage. So Ed Palumbo in the 11, he's definitely going to have some damage. I mean, this guy's bottled up. I'll tell you what, 62, 11, and the 22 all bottled up there on pit lane and get together. So there's going to be some damage there on those guys. And this is, I'm going to say, just to make an editorial statement here at this point. This is to be a great example why rFactor 2 needs visible damage. You know, just show us a little bit of scrape, a little bit of dent in the fender, man. And that way, you know, it's really apparent, I think, in stock cars like this when guys can take a look at that damage and say, yeah, you got a little left side damage or whatever, you got visible damage and so forth. It just makes for the realism or the immersion of the game. So, guys that argue against having damage say, hey, don't wreck, you don't need damage. But it really does, adds to the aesthetic appeal to the game. We work on making these tracks look a little bit more realistic, and the shaders and on the cars and the shaders on the tracks and the lighting and drops, raindrops on the windshield and so forth. Let's go throw in some visible damage here. All right, I'm done. 27, Preston Hassell will start on the inside line as the 88 of Mike Schreiner starts on the outside line in that Titan. So we were caution free, and then we had some shenanigans on pit lane as well under caution. So the pace car is off. Here we go to start lap 36. Things getting bunched up again. We get a little bit of a rubbered in track, and you have to be careful here. Let things shake out. This is where it can get dicey. Cautions breed cautions. 27 ahead of that pack, and those guys behaving themselves right now. See the 22 going down to the bottom line here. That's going to make it 3 wide. Got to be really careful as you come back up on the track. Pavlov does a great job of missing. Oh, no! Almeida there sideways. 62 sideways.
Yellow.
And Pavlov comes around. The 63 also around. And it all started, I think, through that dog leg. And cautions breed cautions. And that's what I say. Cautions breed cautions. We'll take a look at the replay. Right there, that's already happening as the 11 and the 22 get together, and then 62 has nowhere to go. 22 comes down into him, and then he ends up losing it. Oh, the 9 catches him as well. So Bardelli Jr. and the 9 in that 63 car is trying to slow up. That happened a little bit earlier, I think. Take a look here. This is Ricardo Alameda in the 22. He's diving down and comes up, gets into Ed Palumbo, I believe. And then right here comes across the track. 62 has nowhere to go. And then those guys get together behind. A little bit earlier here with Stanislav Pavlov. He's in the middle here as Almeida went through the dogleg area. And looking ahead as Almeida slides that car up the track and gets into Ed Palumbo in the 11 car, and then Zaglotko getting caught up to that. The 9 slamming him. Zaglotko, watch this. Watch his point of view. See those guys getting together, and Zaglotko barely able to slip through. Whew, man, I'll tell you what, that was crazy close for Eugene Zaglotko. Of Preston Hassell, the leader. And looks like he's going to start on the outside line. Mark Schreiner's going to, I believe, start on the inside line. We're getting some guys coming down pit lane. Cautions breed cautions. That's what I say. And I mean it. Don't forget to join us next week on Friday, March the 18th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for race number 9 in the High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series, Richmond Raceway. 140 laps from that great short track, and the season is winding down. And we got a tight points battle. Who's going to win this short track battle? It's race number 9. It'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. Almeida there coming back out on track, so he was determined, looked like he had slid up into the 11 car. It was determined that he was the initiator there, so he's going to have to start. That's the rule for caution flags in all of our series, high octane racing. If you cause the caution flag, then you drive down pit lane with the 2 to go and start at the tail end of the line. So 2 caution flags. We were caution free until that mess started rolling through. And now cautions breed cautions, right? That's what they say. That's what they say. Cautions breed cautions, as Preston Hassell looks like he's going to start on the inside line. Thought he was going to start on that outside line, but it looked like the pace car was just moving around. All right, 27 going to start on the inside line. 88, Mike Schreiner will start on the outside line. The 11 of Ed Palumbo. And Palumbo got that car up front. Look at that, Jim Willis in the 4th position. Been quiet out of Jim Willis, but look at that. Black Rifle Coffee Company machine now starting up in the 4th position. So here 42 laps in. Got 2 caution flags, and hopefully these guys have learned their lesson and now going to behave here a little bit. Said, good luck with that. This is stock car racing.
Green flag, go, go, go.
All right, here we go. Back to green. And Palumbo in that 3rd position. Tell you what, keep your eye on this guy, man. Has an uncanny way of getting that car up front. He feels like he's been in a little bit of a funk lately, but I think it's just a matter of time before you see this guy just start racking up wins, man. Clicking them off one after one. Right now running in P3. 53, Jim Willis running in the 4th position. Claudio Bardelli Jr. just behind him in 5th. You see that 53 using that apron. Back here in the pack, you see the 62 and also the 77 side by side. Looking out of the back of the 62, Stanislav Pavlov at Alexander Meshkov, Art Vieira in the 9 car. I called him Claudio Bardelli Jr. a little while ago. I apologize for that. Being in that 9, kind of some of these guys in these different paint schemes, man, I don't recognize right off the bat. Ricardo Alameda in the 22, getting by that 57 of Claudio Bardelli Jr. So the 22 on the move here after having to start in the back. Mike Schreiner now our race leader. He had gotten around and took the race lead away from Preston Hassell. Hassell battled him for a few laps, but Schreiner now to the race lead. He got around Ed Palumbo, this 88 car on the move now. Take a look at that pass. Mike Schreiner gets around Preston Hassell here to take over the race lead. Good battle there between the 27 and the 88. Good clean battles. The 88 now back to the race lead there. He's got a race win this season as well. Take a look at Jim Willis here in the 53. And a good battle behind him. Gary Madu and Givaldo Spindola here side by side racing. Givaldo down on that inside with that 117 car. Gary Madu in the right there. Gary Madu contact with Givaldo. And there's going to be more contact, I think, here before it's over with. He's going to have to be careful. 63 now crossing over, going down to the inside, battling that 117 car. Gets by the 117, and now the 117 leaving that door open for the 22. Ricardo Almeida. Almeida in the 22 car, he wants to get back up here with that 63 and battle him. Those guys got into one another a little bit earlier. So now that 22 car getting by Givaldo. Givaldo says, hey, man, I'll tell you what, don't count me out, man. Givaldo Spindler here in the 117, now battling back on that 22 car. A great battle here. Givaldo racing a lot of laps here in stock cars. He is no easy guy to pass, that's for sure. Now battling in that 7th position. Great racing here. These guys starting to swap positions around. How about this? Stanislav Pavlov and Claudio Bardelli Jr. These guys battling. Good racing right there is Stanislav up on the outside. They're behind, running in the, looks like 9th position. Claudio Bardelli Jr. running in 10th. It is Jim Willis here in the 53 battling the 11 of Ed Palumbo. Just ahead, Preston Hassell running in P2. This looks like a lot of fun, man. I almost drove this race tonight versus broadcasting. I almost got in the car and turned some laps. I thought, well, you know, people are expecting the race and me to broadcast. I'll stay up here in the booth. Probably safer for everybody. Alexander Meshkov here in the 77, running in the 11th position. Quiet night for that Subway sponsor machine. That's the way he does it, man. He's just quiet on the radio, doesn't say much. Just all business here, so we'll keep our eye on Alexander Meshkov running in the 11th position. Eugene Zaglotko here in the 33. Been a little bit of an eventful night here for him, but nonetheless keeps plugging away in the top 10 for that 33 car. Good looking paint scheme there from Eugene Zaglotko. Mark Javiera here now trying to bounce back from an earlier incident. Remember, he had some damage there, just an incident. He got caught up in that. Nothing to his doing, but here he's having a little bit of a challenge here, running in the back in the 11th position. We got a battle here between Jim Willis and the 63 of Gary Madu side by side. Gary Madu now moving back up here. That guy is on the move and in a hurry, and he gets by the 53 car. We got a yellow flag here as that Meshkov might have come around. Alexander Meshkov here off the pace a little bit. Take a look and see what happened here. Alexander Meshkov touches that apron. We saw that a little bit earlier. And the 77 coming around, self-spin, but he touched that apron there. And you see what happens is it's a little bit different angle. You see that, and it upsets the balance of the car. It causes less weight in the back of the car, throws the weight balance off, and then causes this car to come around. And he does a great job really keeping it out of the wall. On board here. Watch, you're going to turn this wheel. Watch this. See, he's just trying everything he can to keep this out of the wall. He does a great job, but nonetheless, got that front tire on the wall, on the apron, and that caused the back end to get a little bit light and come around. For the 88, Mike Schreiner, our race leader, coming down pit lane. And what we saw really through that run is the 63 car moving back up the field. Okay, so I think he is trying to want to get that car up front as quickly as he can as we see some of these drivers coming down pit lane. He wants to get that car back up front as quickly as he can, that's for sure. Gary Madu up front here as we watch this battle off pit lane. This is going to be interesting. This will be interesting here, as we saw some shenanigans on pit lane before. Everything looks clean so far. Pretty wide battle there off pit lane. I like that camera placement right there. I wish all the tracks had that camera placement right at the end of pit lane. And always an interesting camera angle, I think, to get a good battle, good perspective. A lot of shenanigans sometimes happen on pit lane that really have an effect on the outcome of the race. So I always like watching that stuff, and some of those camera angles of some of these tracks do not allow us to view that exit line on the pits. I'm going to send a message out to all those track builders out there for ovals. Put a camera where you can get a good shot of the exit of pit lane. As it looks like Claudio Bardelli Jr. Now, he did not make a pit stop here, so the 57 car has stayed out, and we'll be interested to see how this works out for him. So I didn't see him on pit lane, so I think he maybe he's going to be gambling here a little bit and working on some track position. I think as tough as this place can be on tires, it is smooth, but it is tough on tires just because of the angles that you have to drive. And I say you would want to come down pit lane, and maybe you heard me because the 57 does look like he has elected to make a pit stop. So Claudio Bardelli Jr. on pit lane now, as that will give Ed Palumbo in the 11 car the race lead. We're getting the 1 to go. All right, the 22 and the 11 going to start side by side here. There's some shenanigans going on right now between the 11 and the 22. I don't know what it is, but there's some paint rubbing. 22 and the 11. Side by side here is Ed Palumbo on the high line. The 22, Ricardo Alameda down on the inside line through that apron, and that is a little bit faster as he's going to use that. Maybe scrub off some speed coming into the turn, however, so this may end up working out bad for him, but no, he ends up getting that spot. Ed Palumbo now back to the second position. Jim Willis is in third. Stanislav Pavlov running in the fourth position. Good battle here as you see Pavlov out of the back of Jim Willis's machine. Preston Hassell might have gotten up into the wall. Preston Hassell slid that car up high, got into the wall. And Pavlov, as well as Jim Willis here, battling for position. Jim Willis in third. Pavlov is in the fourth position. Gary Madu is in fifth in that 63 car. Track positions, everything. We see these guys racing hard on those restarts. Mike Schreiner in the 88 running in the sixth position. You're 62 laps in. These guys getting after it right now. There's a bottleneck up there up front. I'm not sure what happened. We got a cluster of cars up front here, side by side. More contact between the 88 and the 53. 88 and the 53 made contact. Something happened there as those guys got a little cattywampus and dropped back. Take a look here as Gary Madu in the 63 car. The Zaglotko gets a little squirrely. Take a look here. This is 63. Look at this. This is 4 wide right now. This is 4 wide. This isn't going to work. 4 wide is not going to work. So these guys battling right there. Contact. That was crazy. That was 4 wide, man. Looking out of the front of Preston Hassell machine. Take a look at this. This is a replay of this action. Those guys were flat out 4 wide. And then there's contact right here between Mike Schreiner and the 53 of Jim Willis. We got a yellow flag here. Yellow breeds yellow. Looks like Ed Palumbo off the pace in that 11 car. Yellow breeds yellow. We had a great race there, first run. And then we got a caution flag. So we got a yellow flag and not sure what happened. Whatever it was, it involved the 11 car, it looked like. Take a look and see what happened here. The 11, like everything okay with him, but oh, the car just breaks loose. And, ow, hard lick there for the 11 into the inside wall. And Preston Hassell had a bird's eye view of this. Look at this. Ringside seat for Preston Hassell. Does a great job of getting out of the way. And you see Ed Palumbo hard contact into the wall. So it looked like self-spin there. The back end of that car came around. And, you know, I would say this. Now, listen, you know, every single one of these guys out here are better race car drivers than I am. But, you know, I think early in the runs, you got colder tires. You got the possibility of, you know, maybe a little bit more of a rubbered-in track as well. Maybe be a little patient here. Let these tires get some heat in them before you go racing. And those guys were getting after it pretty hard there early in the run as we see Gary Madu on pit lane. Also, Mike Schreiner. There might be a 2-tire stop here out of some of these guys. Art Vieta coming out on track. John Stanley in the 12 car finishing up his pit stop. 53, Jim Willis also probably getting some damage fixed on his machine. 33, Eugene Zaglotko. 77, Alexander Meshkov, and the 11 of Ed Palumbo. Now finishing up their pit stops. Ricardo Alameda is the leader. Almeida looked like he's going to elect to go to the, is it the outside line maybe? Choose that outside line. We'll see what we got on lane choice here. 69 laps in, and now we've got 4 caution flags under our belt here. We had a pretty good green flag run there early on at that 1 caution flag, and then that led to another caution flag, had another little mini run, and then now 2 quick cautions in a row. Give us a total of 4 here today. And don't forget, we got a little bit later, we got the Saturday Night Thunder headed your way, the Cup Car Series. This thing's been going on for 21 years, 140 laps at Phoenix. We call this Beat the Broadcaster Night. This is race number 6, and this is when I get out of the car or get out of the broadcast booth, get into the car, and swap some paint with these guys just to see if I can hold my own. I think I do pretty well here. Not to brag, but I think I do pretty well. Won a championship last season, and season's been a little bit different story. I didn't race the first 2 races. Did some live streaming on Twitch. Almeida now dropping down to the inside, so he's elected to take that inside line to 62. Stanislav Pavlov. See who's up front now. Pavlov's up front there. Bardelli Jr. up there. He's in 4th. 117 also in this mix. Excuse me, the 57. Bardelli Jr. is in 4th. Givaldo in the 117 is in 3rd. A little bit different look here. We do have the 22 and the 62. Those guys have been up front. Bardelli Jr., we know he's won a lot of races. 117. I tell you what, man, he's looking fast here tonight. Gary Madu in 5th. That's going to be, we know how aggressive this KISS sponsor machine can be, driver this KISS sponsor machine. So I think a little bit of patience here on this restart. Let these tires heat up. You might be able to put your car where you want it, but the guys trying to react may not have enough time, or here on cold tires, it can create some issues here. So keep your eye on these guys on this restart. Ready to go back green. Get ourselves through. Almeida gets a heck of a jump there on that restart. Coming around off turn 2. Ricardo Alameda, Stanislav Pavlov, 1-2. Bardelli Jr. in 3rd, and he has got some company now with that 63 car. Get out of the back of Claudio Bardelli Jr. You see Givaldo Spindle up on the high side. Mike Schreiner, Gary Madu trying to get by. It looks like Givaldo might have made some contact with the wall. Gary Madu in a 63. Mike Schreiner in that 88 looked like he would try to get by. Ends up missing that, as now Givaldo now going to try to battle to get around. Artevieta in this mix. Those guys getting after it there. No patience here. 9 car. Artevieta, he says it's go time now. We're past halfway. Let's go. Back half of this race. This 9 car going to try to move to the front. Jim Willis and Eugene Zaglotko battling it out. Eugene in that 33 car. Great race car driver here. He gets by Jim Willis. And Eugene Zaglotko on the move, on board here with him. As you see dipping below that line. This is legal. Tightening up there coming off the turn. However, you tend to scrub off a little bit of speed if you use that inside. Bad angle into the turn, and it causes you to be a little bit slower. See those guys coming off, staying on the track, have a little bit of advantage coming off the turn. These guys look like they're coming around. Artevieta here looked like he was sideways. We got a caution flag. Jim Willis coming around. John Stanley might have come around as well. Caution flag. Another one. So it looked like Mike Schreiner, Ricardo Almeida might have been involved in this. I'm not sure. No, it looks like John Stanley, Eugene Zaglotko. I take that back. Take a look here. John Stanley. Looked like maybe the 33 got into the back. There was some checking up there of the 88 checking up, and then the 27 and the 33 get involved. Looked like there was some checking up there. Schreiner came around. And Mike Schreiner ends up spinning this, and there's just a bottleneck here that happens a little bit. As I think the 12 car got out of the gas, and then the 33 got in the back of him, and then 53 also in that mix. That happened in a hurry on board here. See, right though, this guy's getting checked up as the 33. Woo! Man, Jim Willis escapes disaster as the 33 came around too. A whole lot of wrecking going on right there. John Stanley just had nowhere to go, so he's going to get checked up here. And then Zaglotko, he doesn't see the spinning car. He gets in the back of Stanley. And then those guys come around, and look at that, 53 scrubbing off the 33, and then 27 straight indoor shot to the 12. Wow. 12 took a hard lick right there, man. That'll shake your dentures loose. So these guys on pit lane here, making a pit stop. Some of the guys have finished up their pit stops here. Almeida and the 11 of Ed Palumbo battling off pit lane, the 88. Also battling. Gary Madu shown as the race leader here. All right, we're going green next time by 63, Gary Madu. The race leader, Claudio Bardelli Jr. in the 57 is in second, I believe. The number switches there when those guys get off the racing surface down onto that apron. Looks like we got some chatters in here. Who that one guy is there, that Will D guy. Hopefully Doggy is okay, by the way. Sending out our well wishes for the Doggy. Pace car dropping off the track here, lap 79. Back in action, Gary Madu in a 63 leads the field, take the green flag. How about that? Claudio Bardelli Jr. starts in the second position this time, 117. Givaldo Spindola in third. The 9 of Artur Vieto starts in the fourth position. Preston Hassell, I tell you what, Meshkov's had some trouble there. He dropped off on this start. He dropped a lot of positions there in that Subway sponsor machine. As Madu clearing the field and holding on to turn P1. Almeida in that 22. Givaldo Spindle in the 117 battling it out. Almeida wants to get this car back up front. He's behind the 11 of Ed Palumbo. He wants to get this car back up front and see if he can't battle for a not only a victory but also a championship. Gary Madu, the leader, and he's starting to walk away a little bit. Open up a half a second lead over Claudio Bardelli Jr. Art Vieta running into third position. He has been quiet tonight. Just slowly gotten this car up front. Now 3 wide here. Going to be 3 wide before we know it. Looking out of the back of Art Vieta's machine, the 22 and the 11 side by side. We saw those guys get into one another a little bit earlier, and there may be some more contact right there. And Palumbo now closing in on the 9. And Palumbo looking to be on the move. He's down to the inside. Got to be careful here because when you come back up on that track, I tell you what, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy here. I have a feeling it's going to get crazy. 22 picks up that spot. Look at that. I was wrong. I thought it was going to get nasty. Givaldo Spindola and Eugene Zaglotko here battling. On board here with Spindola as he's battling behind the 33 of Eugene Zaglotko. Spindola, you see the front end of that car dicing around a little bit. That means the back end's kind of squirrely. Got on the brakes, getting into the turn. The back end wants to kind of wagging around a little bit, wagging that tail. Gary Madu as now almost a second lead over our second place car, Claudio Bardelli Jr. This would be a big win for Gary Madu here in the 63, this KISS sponsor machine. Bardelli Jr. second, Almeida is third, Palumbo fourth, Vieta is in fifth. Mike Schreiner here in the 88 car after taking that last caution flag, now trying to work his way back to the front. He's in the 10th position, just behind John Stanley in the 12 car. He is in 9th. Jim Willis is in the 11th position, just behind. The 88 dropping down to the inside, looking to try to make a pass here on this 12 car. Mike Schreiner making that pass as John Stanley. See Mike Schreiner at the wheel. All business right now. Preston Hassell in the 12 car. On board here with him. We take a look at Preston Hassell at the wheel. As Mike Schreiner giving him a little bit of a hassle in the 9th position. Preston running in P8. Looking to close in on that 117 to Givaldo Spindola. Take a look at Jim Willis here in the 53. Good battle here for him. And the 12 just ahead. Jim Willis running in the 11th position. The 12, John Stanley running in P10. So good battle there between the 53 and the 12. Preston Hassell going to the high line. Givaldo Spindola, that 117 down on the inside line. Good battle there between the 27 and the 117. 27 using that high line. The run he's going to get coming off the high line is going to be a little bit better, and he's able to pull off that pass. Mike Schreiner helping him out a little bit. As now Preston Hassell picking up that spot. Look at that, Mike Schreiner on the move. He's getting around the 117. Look at another yellow flag. Another yellow flag. It looked like maybe Meshkov might have come around. Meshkov off the pace here. The 77s come around, and I don't know whether that was sort of the same scenario, be touching that apron and getting the back end loose. We saw that happen to him earlier tonight. You're on lap 92. Take a look here as Alexander. Oh, there it is, right there. He gets down below that yellow line, and then the back end of that car comes loose, and he spins. Same. That is almost a carbon copy of what he did before. So, well, what a tough break there for Meshkov. On board here with him. Watch this. Touches that apron, man. He's trying to catch this thing, but you cannot touch that apron in that area of the track. Because it'll break the back end of that car loose, and that's exactly what happened for Alexander Meshkov. Gary Madu, the leader in the 63. Now pit stops. Well, we had a good little green flag run early on. So Gary Madu on pit lane. See him finishing up his pit stop. These guys go around. Gary Madu. He's going to lose a position there on pit lane as Almeida picks up a spot. So Ricardo Alameda to the front. Everybody sort of got it worked out there on pit lane. We didn't see a lot of shenanigans. Aldo Spindola now coming down pit lane, so he's got his lap led, and that will give the lead back to the 22 of Ricardo Alameda. '63, Gary Madu starts in the second position. So we got our key actors back up here up front. Ed Palumbo up there as well. Mike Schreiner there. These guys got a lot of stock car experience. .95 laps in. Don't forget, coming up next week on Friday, March the 18th, 140 laps from Richmond in the High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series. Race number 9 of the season, and just 2 races to go, including at Richmond. Following that, we have Kansas, and we'll crown the champion in the Bushwhacker Series. We'll take a look at this schedule. 150 laps from Richmond next week, and then Kansas to finish out the season. You don't want to miss it. It'll all be live right here on TurnLeftTV. 140 laps on March the 18th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Richmond. Gilmar Peixoto joining us in the chat session. Gilmar Peixoto should be out here on the track right now. It's watching from the bar. Will D joining us, of course. 22 is elected to take the inside line, I believe. That puts the 63, Gary Madu, up on the outside line. Gilmar in here rooting on Claudio Bardelli Jr. Givaldo Spindle's like, hey, what am I, chopped liver? Mike Schreiner's lost his connection for some reason. All right, 22 down to the inside here to take this green flag. Going back to green, starting lap 97. Gary Madu putting some pressure on this 22 car. 22 slamming the door. Gary Madu pushing the issue here on the bottom side, pushing that 22. On board here with Gary Madu. Down to the inside, has a good run here into turn one. Almeida in the gas, goes in a little bit hot. Drifts up the track there, he's going to run out of room. He's going back down to the inside, so good battle here between P1, P2. Ed Palumbo watching this action. He might be the benefactor here in case these guys get into one another. Looking on board from Ed Palumbo's perspective, he's running in the third position. KISS sponsor machine number 63, Gary Madu. Pushing the issue there as he wants to get around that 22 car. Stanislav Pavlov and the 27 of Preston Hassell battling it out. Stanislav, that's 62, running in the 8th position. Preston Hassell running in 7th. They are side by side on board here with Stanislav. They going through the turn side by side right there. Stanislav's going to try to do that crossover move and use this apron maybe. Stays up high through the dog leg. 27 holding on to that spot. Good racing there. Stanislav Pavlov running in P8. John Stanley running in the 9th position in the 12 car. Great little battle there. Got a good little battle here too, the 53 and the 57. This is Claudio Bardelli Jr., the 53. Jim Willis, Black Rifle Coffee Company Chevy. He wants to get around. He's having a good night here running in the 5th position. Claudio Bardelli Jr. running in 4th. This battle for the lead is not subsided at all. 22. Ricardo Alameda the leader here on lap 101. 63, Gary Madu running in the 2nd position. Now here's kind of the way I feel about this. These two guys have been battling pretty hard. And Ed Palumbo is sitting back there about a half a second back, or about a second back, and he may end up being the benefactor here because he may end up saving his tires. Because if this thing goes green, these guys are burning up their tires right now, because they're driving the wheels off this thing. Keep your eye on those two guys as the run goes on. You may actually see those guys start to get reeled in by the 11 of Ed Palumbo, who's running in the 3rd position. Jim Willis in this mix. Now, Jim Willis is having a good night here. He's battling that 57, Claudio Bardelli Jr. Art Vieta in the 9, one of our cagey veteran drivers from Brazil. He's running in the 6th position, so he's having a pretty good night too. He's gotten around the 27, now taking over P6. So good battling here. And leading that little train, technically, I guess, would be Ed Palumbo. He's got a little bit of a gap there on the P4, P5 cars of Claudio Bardelli Jr. and Jim Willis. They're starting to get side by side as Artur Vieta and Preston Hassell here start to mix it up. Preston Hassell getting by Artur Vieta. 27 now recapturing that position, that Twix sponsor machine. He was going to set his sights on the 53. This is getting serious now, man. 106. These guys getting after it. Oh, the 9 car gets into the wall. Artiviero made a little bit of contact with the wall there. John Stanley peeking through. Stanislav Pavlov makes it around. 9 car trying to recover here. Artiviero racing on the outside line. Stanislav Pavlov in the 62 on the inside line, side by side, and Artiviero recapturing that position. But Pavlov had gotten by. But Artiviero recaptures that spot. Back up here with the race leader. Ricardo Alameda. Gary Madu. Might have been a little contact there. Gary Madu maybe giving him a little bit of a shot just to let him know he was there. This is getting tight. This battle here, the 9 and the 62 back at it. 62, Pavlov. He's up on that outside line trying to make it work. Looks like we might see a little bit of smoke out of some of these guys. That 60 or 57 car might be smoking. A little bit of heat, I think, coming out of that car. Nine car and the 62 of Stanislav Pavlov battling it out here side by side. The 9 of Artiviero up on the high line. Pavlov down on the bottom line cannot really get the bite that he needs to be able to pull off that pass. And that high line's going to win out this time. Artiviero holding on to that spot. Don't forget about Jim Willis here in the 53 car. He's battling Claudio Bardelli Jr. And look at that, 27, Preston Hassell in this mix. Good racing here, man. 30 laps to go, and these guys getting after it. Look at that, 27 now drifted up. The 53 holding on to that spot. This 53 looking very racy, looking out of the front of his machine. Claudio Bardelli Jr. just ahead. Bardelli Jr. running in the 4th position. Jim Willis, oh, he dropped up there a little bit. Starting to hear some guys maybe coming down pit lane. The 63 indicating he might be coming down pit lane. Now he's gotten around Ricardo Alameda. He's going to make a pit stop here. With the 63, Gary Madu, after getting around Ricardo Alameda, now on pit lane. Very interesting. Green flag pit stops. Maybe this is what we wanted to see here. This is what we wanted to see. Some green flag pit stops underway. As Gary Madu coming down pit lane. Take a look at Gary Madu in the 63 as he's making his pit stop. Ricardo Alameda continuing to lead. Very interesting here. Maybe an early pit for the 63 car. This is a risky move, man, because if there's a caution flag, you're in big trouble. As he finishes up his pit stop, coming back out on track. He's now in the 11th position. He is 1 lap down. And he's exiting the pits here as these guys come through the trioval area. Now remember, he's on fresh tires. But he's got to get these things heated up. So now Gary Madu back out on track. He is 1 lap down in the 11th position. Jim Willis on pit lane. That 53 car. He's finishing up his pit stop as we see him finishing up, coming back out on track. And Ricardo Alameda continuing to lead. Ed Palumbo is 2nd. Bardelli Jr. is 3rd. Now 3rd in line is actually the lap down car of Gary Madu. Jim Willis is in 11th. Also now 1 lap down. We may see some guys start making green flag pit stops. Almeida the leader. Now Gary Madu on fresher tires now. If I were that 22, I'd just let him go here. He's in that position where he's the lucky dog, but if he gets around, he's back on the lead lap, and you're not hurt by that. The 22 wisely lets the 63 car go. Preston Hassell here on the move. He gets around Claudio Bardelli Jr. Preston Hassell now in the 3rd position. Keep your eye on this 27 car. He's been quiet here tonight. Great battling here between the 57 and the 62. The 62 down to the inside. 57, Claudio Bardelli Jr., Stanislav Pavlov in the 62 car side by side. The 9 of Artevieta in this mix as well. Artevieta, he's down on the apron there. He's going to battle that 62 car. 62 used the apron to get around Claudio Bardelli Jr. Now Artevieta going to try to be the benefactor of that. He's going to try to get around. He does. Artevieta picking up a spot. Bardelli Jr. now losing 2 positions. He's back to the 6th position. Yeah, Palumbo, our race leader now in that 11 car as Almeida gives up a spot. Yeah, Palumbo caught Ricardo Alameda. Take a look here as Palumbo making this pass on the outside line. Ricardo Alameda on the inside line, and Ed Palumbo squeezes a little bit. Doesn't give him the bite that he needs, and Ed Palumbo uses the outside line and takes a race lead. Ed Palumbo now got about a second gap on our second place car. Ricardo Alameda, Preston Hassell is in 3rd. Pavlov is in the 4th position. Vieta is in 5th. You're on lap 119. Got to be thinking that some of these guys are going to have to come back down pit lane. Some of them are going to be gambling. I think maybe knowing that there's probably going to another caution flag. You talk about gambling. Gary Badu is the last car on the lead lap, so he has definitely gambled here, and he's lost the positions. And we got a yellow flag. Just as I said, guys would be gambling for another yellow flag, and Artevieta off the pace in that 9 car. Down through that dog leg, and he is off the pace. Looks like a caution flag here on lap 121. 20 laps to go. We'll see what happened here as Ed Palumbo will fall behind the pace car. We'll take a look as Artevieta just comes around. You see the back end of that car. That's a self-spin right there. We've seen that part of the track be really, really slick. And he backs it into the inside wall there through the dog leg. Yeah, again, watch him. He's going to be working this wheel, trying to hold on to this thing. And then just at that point, nothing you can do. And just hoping it keeps off the stays off the wall, and he does get into the wall. So it looked like the 9 just came around right there, and Zaglotko's retired his machine for some reason. And 9 comes around. It looked like Zaglotko had retired his machine too. He came down pit lane, it looks like, and decided to DNF his car. So I'm not sure what's going on with Eugene. So the 11 of Ed Palumbo, the leader, and this is a little bit of a good news, bad news thing for him, I think. Well, he's going to get make a pit stop, as you've seen the 53 getting the lucky dog coming around. Good news, bad news, I think, for Ed Palumbo. We see guys coming down pit lane there. Sorry, I was a little bit behind. So now Gary Badu back on the lead lap, so he was definitely one of those contenders. But it could be a good news situation for him because he was going to have to make a pit stop under green and then to potentially set up a battle there between he and the 63. You see the 63 there diving into his pits. Ed Palumbo finishing up his pit stop and back out on track. Now the bad news for the 63 is he's lost some track position, so he's got some work to do and not a lot of time to do it. You see these guys on pit lane. Got Palumbo finishing up his pit stop here, so good little battle there off pit lane with those guys. Jim Willis is shown as a race leader, but he will have to come down pit lane since he got the lucky dog. He'll have to start at the end of the longest line. Bardelli Jr. is second. Stanley third, Hassell fourth, Palumbo fifth. And Willis will have to start at the end of the longest line, I believe, since he got the lucky dog. So we had a pretty good green flag run there. We had some green flag pit stops, and then now back under caution here, and not a lot of time to make something happen. As the 53, Jim Willis, I would suspect, there he goes, like he's going to down to the inside. These guys are going to have to go around him. So you see those guys go by, and now the 57, Claudio Bardelli Jr. is the leader. John Stanley in second. The 27 of Preston Hassell third. Ed Palumbo's fourth. Ricardo Alameda fifth. Stanislav Pavlov is sixth. So that whole pit stop sequence right there, in my opinion, did not help Gary Madu. He's going to start in the seventh position, and he has got a lot of work to do to get this car back up front. And again, you're looking at, when we cross the start-finish line, 15 laps to go. So time's running out here for the 63 to work that strategy with that pit stop situation. 57, Claudio Bardelli Jr. will take the green flag here on the inside line to start lap 126. Pace car is in. Here we go. Pace car is in. Going back to live here finally. Sorry about that. There we go. 57 and the 12, the 11. 1, 2, 3. Claudio Bardelli Jr. These guys getting wild here, man. This is all go now. No giving here. The last laps of this race, you got to give work for everything you got, and you got to hold on to everything you have. 27, Preston Hassell. He is in a hornet's nest right now. Preston Hassell up on the high side, and John Stanley down on the inside line. Great battling there. You see Ricardo Alameda going down to the inside. He and John Stanley now side by side. A couple of our Canadian drivers. These guys are not going to give an inch. Gary Madu, Stanislav Pavlov here. Side by side. Gary Madu down to the inside. He's trying to hold on to this thing. He's on maybe a little bit different strategy. Down to the inside, trying to get around John Stanley. Got to go in a hurry here, but Claudio Bardelli Jr. exactly where he wants to be, and that is out front. Ed Palumbo is in second. Preston Hassell third. Ricardo Alameda is in fourth, and there's contact back there. There's contact. Ricardo Alameda comes around. Looks like Stanislav Pavlov around as well. I had a feeling. I just had a feeling. That pack there, about fifth on back, they were getting very, very racy. Zaglotko has retired his machine. Almeida, Willis might have been involved too. We'll see what caused that. Take a look here. It looked like that Ricardo had gotten up the track a little bit and got into the 12 car. And then, oh man, the 9 had nowhere to go. The 62 had nowhere to go. Here's a little bit earlier here. See the 22 climbing up the track right there, and he gets into the 12 right there, bounces off the 12, and then as they get this straightened up, entering the straight, or I guess through the apron right there, or the tri-oval, the dog leg, I should say. And right here, there's going to be more contact. 63 has a bird's eye view of that, that's for sure. And then that contact right there, and more contact right there. And the 63 does a good job of getting around that. Right here, these guys are going to bounce off one another. Going down on that dog leg area. Now they're going to come back together, and the 12 is up the track. And right there, these guys are going to get into one another. Right there, the 22 drifts up a little bit, and then gets into the 12. He does not realize that 12 maybe is up on the high side. The late race caution flag. It was a tough one there, as one kind of going with the flow of traffic, one up high, and things get tight. Bardelli Jr. is the leader, and Palumbo in second, Hassell third. Some of these guys came down pit lane. Of course, John Stanley on pit lane taking some service in the 12 car. Gary Madu, that's kind of a caution flag that he needed. He is now in the 4th position, the 63 car. He needed that caution flag. He really did. Now we're going to restart in a situation where he's going to start on the outside line in 4th. Everybody on, kind of this a little bit older tires, I guess. They've had a few laps on these tires. Bardelli Jr., can he hold him off for one last charge? Don't forget, a little bit later, we'll be at Phoenix for the Cup Series, race number 6 of the season in the Saturday Night Thunder. 140 laps from Phoenix. This is Beat the Broadcaster night. If you're interested in beating up on me, you don't like how I talked about you on the live stream, think I don't know what I'm talking about, come on out. Punch me in the mouth. Get out of the broadcast booth, get in the driver's seat, and have a good time with these guys, man. Just like the days of old, just straight up racing and, racing with a lot of my friends that I've known for a long time. Ed Palumbo, and also Preston Hassell. I would say you're probably going to see maybe Tony Furtado out on the track tonight. So you've been racing with those guys for a long time, and it's really kind of a way of rekindling that fire that I had for racing back in the day. I've not really been able to capture the magic, I guess, what semblance of magic that I ever had, that I had in, say, NASCAR racing 2003, or even a little bit there in rFactor 2, rFactor 1. Not been able to dial it in here with rFactor 2, but nonetheless, it is what it is, right? Claudio Bardelli Jr. he's definitely got some magic. He's got some championships, race wins, and always has that car up in a competitive spot. And he is in the lead here on lap 134. Across the start-finish line, we'll start lap 135. Scheduled to go 140. Now, what are your bets on whether this actually ends under green? I think it probably won't. Or at least end without another caution flag. Let's put it that way. All right, pace car's off. Here we go. At Palumbo on the outside. That could be a good place here on this restart if he holds serve and keeps it side by side. Oh, contact! Stays out of the 57 car, but he might have the edge. Oh, there's more contact right there. The 57. Oh, we got a huge wreck. As now Gary Madu makes it through. I think it might have been a little squeezing going on. Little squeezing going on right there. Take a look here as these guys came off the turn. And there's contact right there. Looks like Bargelli Jr. might have gotten into the 11 car, and then these guys all coming around, and all heck breaks loose there. My heavens. Looking out of the front of Preston Hassell's machine. And then all heck breaks loose behind. John Stanley, he got absolutely cattywampus beat up on this, but he's trying to get through. And then everything gets closed right there. You see the 57, and he's trying to avoid the 57. He gets the car loose and then gets into the 11, and then back down into the 22 and the 53. Boy, these guys really pushing it to the edge here. He gets into the 11 car. I think that probably was on the 57. The more I look at it there, on board, but it looked like he got a little bit loose right there, and then he drifts up the track and gets into the see, comes off the turn and drifts up the track a little bit and gets into that 11 car. That was pretty tight. And Gary Madu was in the right spot at the right time, it looked like, for him. Right there, it does look like that 57 car gets into the 11. Well, Gary Madu now to the front. See, all that played into his hands, didn't it?
Road will be open this time.
Gary Madu, the leader, and it looks like he is going to, what do we got? Is this a green-white checker? Might be. So we're in a green-white checker territory here. As Gary Madu in the 63 car has gotten that car up front. Valdo Spindola in second, Preston Hassell third, Stanislav Pavlov is in the fourth position. Ricardo Alameda is in fifth. These guys just caution flag after caution flag after caution flag here. We did have one round of green flag pit stops, or at least a partial round of green flag pit stops, let's put it that way. Now we are we're going to settle a score here with a green-white checker in the 63 KISS sponsor machine of Gary Madu, now back up front. Givaldo Spindola is in second. Preston Hassell third. Stanislav Pavlov is in the fourth position. These guys just can't figure it out here as far as caution flags. And who knows, man? Are we going to end up this thing under green? Badou's going to start on the inside line. That puts Givaldo Spindola, who has been fast on restarts. I tell you what, this would be a huge win for Givaldo. And, I'll tell you, I don't root for people specifically, but I've got a little bit of rooting going on for Givaldo. He's one of our most loyal HORL members. You guys here each and every week, 3 times a week. And if he's not here, it is a rare event. At 117, he's putting himself in a position to get a great finish here, if not a race win. That'd be big for Givaldo. We'll see how this shakes out. We've got 2 laps to go here to settle the score, and the pace car is in. Green-white checker here at Phoenix. Pace car off. And Gary Badou hold off a charge. Good start there. Oh, 62 into the back of that 117 car. 63 clears the 117. Oh, contact right there between the 117 and the 27. There's going to be more contact, I suspect. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. It kicked off. And a mess to finish this race, as Gary Badou is going to get the race win. For the 63 of Gary Badou is going to get the race win. So there was shenanigans. Gary Badou is going to get the race win. There was shenanigans. My heavens, man. We'll see what happened here. I mean, this is an absolute mess. We'll see what happened. Right here, Givaldo comes across the track, gets into the 27, and then catches that 62. Givaldo spinning back across the track, the 22 and the 9 into the wall. And then there's a whole hell of a lot of cars that are just all wadded up. Somebody's stuck in the wall there. A couple of guys stuck in the wall. Artivera quit from the race because he couldn't have any choice. It looks like Givaldo's stuck in the wall as well. But Gary Badou is going to win, and 17 car. Oh, boy. So the 117, Gary Badou gets the win in the Showdown series tonight. Oh, man. It really was a good race until it got a little muddy. But nonetheless, he was able to come out on top, and that strategy, I guess, worked out for him. With a little help from his friends, to say the least. We'll take a look at the final results. Gary Badou finishes in the top spot. Stanislav Pavlov, look at that. Second place finish for him. Ricardo Alameda third. Ed Palumbo finishes in the fourth position. Jim Willis fifth. John Stanley sixth. Preston Hassell finishes in the seventh position. Claudio Bardelli Jr. eighth. Givaldo Spindola finishes ninth. Arthur Vieira finishes in the 10th position. Finishing in 11th is Eugene Zaglotko. Mike Schreiner is 12th. Alexander Meshkov 13th. And Paul Brown finishes in the 14th position. So congratulations to Gary Madu on getting the win. So that was an interesting finish to the race, to say the least. I had a feeling that was going to happen there. I mean, we had a lot of caution flags there to bunch up the field a couple times there toward the end. All right, we'll see if we can't get Gary Madu up here in the booth with us. All right, Gary Madu gets the win here at Phoenix. That race was absolutely bonkers.
Damn, I'm tired. Oh, what an emotional up and down and physical and I don't even know where to begin, brother.
Well, we made the decision to allow racing below the line there through the dog leg. What's your assessment on that? I know we've been in a lot of races where it's been both ways. How do you prefer the racing here at Phoenix?
I like it using under whatever they do in real world. I like to try and duplicate it. Just makes it more like, you're almost almost them.
Now, in the real world, I don't think we have that little bit of a ramp there going up to the wall that you seem to want to use and maybe get it up on two wheels. What were you thinking there as you took it a little bit too tight and got into Ricardo?
Well, you see, when we came off at 2, I knew he saw me there, so I heard car outside. So I just headed as close to that wall as possible, and then I saw at the last second he wasn't giving me any room, so it was too late. I just tried avoiding the worst of the worst there.
And then, of course, with the pit stop strategy, it looks like you came in early.
Yeah.
And we're kind of playing that pit stop game. Did you worry when you came back out and had a few laps in and the caution flag came out?
Yeah. Lots of worry. My perfect plan went to, well, look, it's a chance you take, right?
Yeah, you fell back in the back of the field. I mean, so you got back on the lead lap, and then you were starting at the back of the field. But now you got a situation where you've got to maybe rely on some caution flags, which happened for you, to get your car back up front and maybe get a top 5 out of it even.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early in the race, and I wanted to see how I could fight my way up after that first going to their back end. And I tell you one thing, these drivers here don't give you an inch, and I got to take it less than a centimeter to try and make these passes. So cautions came in, I passed guys at the right time. Just the sequence of pitting, I kept advancing, and I knew I was within striking distance when I'm second row. And I don't know how I got through that wreck with Ricardo and Ed. I mean, I looked, I had damage on the side of my car. I thought I was going to get spun out, but it's worked. And I know at the start, just one more thing, I knew at the start that I had the better gearing to get off the line. So I was sort of happy with that.
Well, we are going to switch gears next week, literally, and throw a road course in there at Watkins Glen. Of course, we stock car guys have been at Watkins Glen International a lot, and now you've got some guys that are racing in this series that are really road course specialists, because that's a lot of what they race. I know Ricardo Alameda is a great road course driver. Man, Watkins Glen, that's going to be a fun track in these cars.
Yeah, it's going to show everybody's road course talents and our brothers from South America. That's going to be just crazy fun. Crazy fun.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, I think Ricardo Alameda is actually Canadian.
He is, man. He's on the other side of the island in Montreal. I live on the east side. He's on the west side.
Well, maybe you guys will be a little bit nicer to each other now on the track.
Well, I asked him just before where he's from, and he told me already, but with my memory, you can tell me 7 times, and I still won't remember. But I'd rather have it racing hard with him like that. I like that. Nothing dirty, just, earn your passes.
Yeah, this guy's a great race car driver. He's got an IndyCar championship at HORL, and throws his hat in the race for stock cars, and he's already got a race win and a hard competitor.
I can't wait till you bring back those Indy cars.
Absolutely.
Any news on that? Any news on that? Any rumors?
Nothing I'm ready to release.
There's no birdies like in the trees saying things? No?
Nope.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, hey, congratulations and good luck next week at Watkins Glen.
Thank you, my brother. We love you at TurnLeftTV.
All right, Gary Madu, race winner here at Phoenix. All right, man. Gary Madu gets the win, and congratulations to him. Big win in that KISS sponsor machine. Another win for Gary Madu, and I tell you, this guy is sort of live by the sword, die by the sword, because he's an aggressive driver. He's a risk taker. Tonight he took a risk. It didn't look like that was going to pan out for him, and then luck be the way that it was, he finds himself back up front with a series of cautions, and then you had a huge melee on that last little green flag run, that green-white checker, and he was able to seal the deal in the 63 car. So congratulations to Gary Madu on getting the race win here in the High Octane Racing League Saturday Showdown Series. Don't forget, next week we got Richmond Raceway coming up, race number 9 in the High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series. It'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 140 laps in that great short track at Richmond, and this could be a night race. So it's going to be a fun one. Don't want to miss it. It'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. That's the Bushwhacker Series on March the 18th. Tonight's race has been brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server, a website, or an online store, please give EliteHostingUSA.com a look. Thanks so much for joining us here on TurnLeftTV. What an interesting race that was. Peace to everybody out there. Great job to Gary Madu. Congratulations to him, and thanks to all those folks who come in and chat with us in the chat session. Hang on to your horses, man. We'll be back at it next week on Friday, March the 18th. But until then, I am out of here.